am joined here by Luis Benitez, our creative director.
How's it going, guys?
And our special guest speaker, Mr Oyoke Excellence.
How are you guys?
Doing good. Thank you so much for coming on our show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to start off just by talking a little bit about what the concept of our podcast is going to be.
Okay.
And then we'll just kind of dive a little bit into some questions as far as what we're going to be talking about, the questions that I have for you. So the concept of the show is basically built around small business owners in LA.
Okay.
There's a lot of struggles that we go through. There's a lot of lessons that we learn along the way. And, I know that you started real estate in 1984.
Yes.
And you started trying to build your own brand from there. So what I want to talk to you about is from when you were working from someone else, what about your experience did you decide that you want to start your own brand? Like what made you say, okay, I'm tired of working from someone else. Let me start my own brand.
Well, it all started in 1983 when I started studying for my real estate exam. And by May of 1984, I passed my exam and I started with the Century 21 system at the time. Worked there for about 6 months, got recruited to Realty World. Then I worked there about a year, got recruited to another Realty World in another city. Was there, went over to, got recruited to the city of Pico Rivera to VIP Realtors. And then the two brokers were fighting. The owners were fighting. And I liked them both. I don't want to go. He says, come with me. I just didn't want to follow them. So what happened is I just says, look, I'm not going to go either way. So I'm going to open up my own little shop. And I opened on a 400 square foot little lease there with 3 other partners.
And nice. And what made you decide? Was it the fact that they were arguing with each other and you didn't know which side to go to? That made you decide, what, I want to go on my own?
As a matter of fact, well, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. In other words, I've always wanted to open up an office, but okay, maybe next year. It was always next year. That was a turning point that, hey, you know what? I have to do it. It's now or never. And that's when I got started. And that was in 1990.
And when you were working prior, were you a top agent at the time, or was it a lot of learning experience until you became a top agent?
The first couple of years, I was learning. Probably from 1984, I was just a regular agent. I know when I got recruited to my third office, there was 100 agents there, and I was probably number 75. So when I left that place into the new place, and they started finding out that I became a top agent, they couldn't believe it. They go, how can this guy who was really a nobody, all of a sudden now he's become a top agent, and I've become friends with a lot of them. As a matter of fact, a lot of the people I work for, a lot of them just left the business, and so wow, okay. It was really interesting that time.
Interesting.
That's very interesting. What types of struggles did you encounter when you were growing your business and your brand? Like, what made you choose the name Excellence? Like, what was that thought process, and what kind of struggles did you go through when you were starting that brand?
Well, here's what happened. Let me go back a little bit. I went ahead and I came into the real estate business at 20 years old, 20 and a half. Now, during that time, right now you get people that are 18, 20 years old. Back then in 1984, being 20 years old, it was equivalent to taking a 13-year-old to a party or something, because the average age was about 40 years old. So there was unheard of a young kid like that. So I would go to a real estate event, and they'll say, hey, whose kid are you? Who's guest? This and that. So it was a struggle from 1984, 85, made some sales, this and that. And but right around 1988, I kind of gained a little weight. Went from 136 when I graduated to about 154. The age level dropped from 38 to like about 27. I fit the mold right in there, and my business just took off. Because I used to go to listing appointments, and on those listing appointments, I would do the best presentation, and they would give it to a part-time agent, and they would say, Mike, you're going to be good, but it's all our equity, and we can't put it in your hands. So those were the struggles that I had from the get-go. But now it's great. Everything is good.
And did you find any kind of struggle as far as maybe being a Latino at that age, at that point in time, selling real estate? Was there any kind of pushback from that?
What? It did, because when I got into, I was born Miguel Oyoke. That's my name, Miguel Oyoke. And when I got into the real estate in '84, a lot of the Anglo people would call through my flyers. Hey, is Miguel there? Is Miguel there? And so the owner at the time, Linda, she says, you know what? You got to go with the Anglo version of Miguel. So you're going to be Mike. So, okay. I didn't know. I was just a young kid. So I started going on my business cards, Miguel, Mike Oyoke. Miguel. And eventually people started, the Mike started kicking in. So then I didn't need the Miguel anymore. So I took it out, and that's how I became Mike Oyoke.
And where did the Mr. Excellence come in from?
The Mr. Excellence, when I came, I'm a big Raider fan. And when I came in, after I started my little first office that I sold off, United Properties, I said, you know what? I like the Raiders. Anybody have Excellence? Nobody did. So I started ERA Excellence Realty. So we went 5 years. Then I converted to Century 21 Excellence. And then as my term ended with C21, I said, you know what? I'm just going to take the name Excellence and take it to the top. And that's how Excellence Real Estate was formed. And then as people going in, I would go to events and somebody would say, hey, here comes Mr. Excellence. Hey, Mr. Excellence. Oh, how you doing? Nothing. I didn't think anything. Mr. Excellence. Mr. Excellence. And I, one day I went and hosted a seminar in Rancho Cucamonga, and I went in there and they said, Mr. Excellence is going to be here. And they put the Mr. Excellence character. And I looked at it on one of those pop-ups, and I said, hey, that looks pretty cool. I said, but I didn't think anything of it. And then all of a sudden, I said, you know what? Somehow the light went on. I says, you know what? I'm going to embrace, as of today, I am Mr. Excellence. And that's when I started pushing the Mr. Excellence. And I think today, probably 55% of the people call me Mr. Excellence. The other 44.5% call me Mike. And then the other 0.5% call me Miguel. So when somebody says, hey, Miguel, how are you? I know it's from high school, and I know it's from 1984 before. So
you have everybody in their categories.
That's the way I have it, yes.
So talking about that, how important do you think is branding when it comes to a business? Branding yourself and marketing yourself the right way? Because I know you're the king of marketing. I see you all the time on Facebook, and I see the way that you're marketing. It's very intelligent.
MySpace came out first, and people were using MySpace, and then people at school were telling the kids, don't get in there, it's bad. So I stayed away from MySpace. And then Facebook came around, and they said, stay away from it, and I stayed away from it. And then one day I was just there, and somebody says, Mike, why aren't you on Facebook? I go, well, I'm not really interested. He says, the two top brokers here in the area, they're using Facebook to promote their company. So right away, I got to get in there. And then when I went in, I started seeing, and I started looking. I started doing it all the angles, and without any training, and sometimes somebody helping me, this and that, I thought that I would take advantage of the Facebook, and I really, really love it.
So you weren't really scared of getting to learn Facebook, because most people are kind of like they're kind of scared to post, or they just don't know how to even maneuver through it.
It's funny, Rosita and me, we post everything. I believe people want to deal with people that are real. If I was a consumer, I want to deal with somebody that's real, Not that somebody that thinks they're all, hey, I'm this, I'm that. You got to do it real. Make it real. And that's why to us, our vacations, we get so many private messages that, hey, where are you guys taking us on vacation next? What do you mean? We follow you guys. Please post. So a lot of times when posting, we really don't want to post. We remember that a lot of our friends want us to post. So we just go live and we try to show everything, the good parts of the vacations, so that way they can maybe get motivated and someday go there.
Yeah, instead of taking us on Facebook, maybe you could take us for real one day. Just kidding.
I always look for the discounts to take Rosita, so we get there. Yes.
And just to let Facebook know, we can't see the comments live. So if you guys have any questions for Mike or for us, definitely leave comments on in the comment section. We'll be looking at them and reviewing the questions. So. Who did you learn business from? Like, who would you say is a person that kind of got you into real estate or got you into sales or taught you the way? Did you have like a father, friend, mentor, anyone that you kind of looked up to?
It's crazy. A lot of times, what people tell us, it empowers us. So I'll give you an example. It was my sophomore year. My life science teacher, Les Hufford, who passed away already, he used to be a teacher there at Pioneer High School, and he had his own little ERA office in Fountain Valley. So one time he says, Miguel, you know what? You would be a great real estate agent. And I says, really? He says, you got the personality to be the best out there. And I just says, well, how much money do they make? And he says, well, they're on commission. I go, I don't know. I think I'll be an accountant because, in high school, I got a D- in introduction to algebra, and I couldn't do all that other stuff. And I got an A+ in basic math. I knew how to count money. I knew how to do all that. And so I thought I was dumb because I couldn't even pass introduction. But I found out now that I'm not going to be a engineer or nothing. That's out of my trade. So he told me and he saw me and he empowered me. He says, you know what? And that little seed grew inside of me. And every time I was failing here, failing there, I remember Mr. Hufford. And then I started saying, you know what? I am going to be a good real estate agent. I'm going to own an office someday. Just throwing it in my head, not really knowing the business or anything. And so that, when I was working at Jack in the Box through the drive-thru, I got my license, I got started, and everything is history on that.
Nice. Did your friends ever come through Jack in the Box and be like, hey, hook me up, give me some?
Oh, of course. We used to barter with, the owners of the restaurants they shouldn't know this, but we used to barter with Shakey's. We used to barter with McDonald's because you get tired of the food all the time. Hey, we'll send you guys a few hamburgers and fries and everything for a large pizza. Okay, great. We'll deliver it to you guys. They'll deliver it to us. And that's, that was pretty fun.
That's basically sales from there.
Sales 101. I knew I was good in real estate because I was a shift leader at Jack in the Box. And sometimes when people were calling in late and this and that, I was able to handle for 10 minutes the drive-through. Hi, welcome to Jack in the Box. Can I take your order? Great. Jumbo Jack, great. Go put it in the thing while the car came in. It starts going, throw the fries in. And for about 10 minutes, I could handle a few cars. So I says, you know what? I can multitask. So I knew I could do it.
And one of the most important questions, to me, is talking about, where you came from Jack in the Box up to, and I think I wrote it down, up to you having now 51 locations?
51 locations, yes.
Wow.
So now let me clarify that. Out of the 51 locations, I own 6 offices. The other ones, I license the name because they have their dreams, and I collect a royalty on that. So, I'm involved in 51 offices where I collect some sort of cash there. But 6 of the offices are the ones that I own.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the mindset.
Okay.
Because me and Luis definitely have been looking and doing a lot of research about the mindset of being successful. When did it hit you, or when did you feel that it was that mindset when you said, okay, if I want to be successful, I have to have this type of mindset? What was your thinking around that time?
You know what? Back then in 1984, we didn't know what the hell was mindset. We didn't know any of that. All that vocabulary that's coming, it's all new. It's all the last 5-6 years. Your mindset. I just knew I had to go to the office. I had to prospect, and when you prospect, the business comes to you. So did I ever practice scripts? Nothing. Did I ever do anything? Nothing. I just went to work at a certain time. I knew I had to hit my 100 doors, and with the 100 doors, it would lead me to listings, to sales, to everything. So, I got involved with mindset now because now the new generation wants to know, well, what kind of mindset? Do you guys practice this? Do you guys practice that? And at the beginning, it's a bunch of bullshit. You either get your butt and you get to work, but I had to adapt to it just so I can communicate with them. But at the end of the day, like I tell people, 100 doors a day will keep the creditors away.
That's one of my favorite videos, is when you went out there on Whittier Boulevard, and I remember I was sitting down on my couch next to my wife, and I saw it and I started laughing, not because I thought it was funny.
You didn't know me then, did you?
I knew you then, but not that much. We had maybe like 1 or 2 conversations, but I just remember I was building everything up, and then I see you, and then you're on Whittier Boulevard. And I'm like, man, this guy owns offices, and he's out there on Whittier Boulevard handing out flyers, and people were asking him questions, and you're like, there's no excuse. If you want to go get business, this is how you need to work. And I just remember sitting there laughing like, oh my God, this is awesome. Because there's so many people that talk about that they want to be successful, but then they don't go out and do it. And here you are, you're saying you want to be successful. You're saying that there's no business coming in. I'm showing you right now, look, this is how it's done.
Everything in life is sales, and all we got to do, by just being there on Whittier Boulevard, on a red light, if I can give a magazine to somebody, then it gives them 25, 30 reasons for them to call me. Hey, thinking of selling, buying a bigger home, a bigger garage, a 2-story, you name it. So that's why we got to connect with the people out there so the phone can ring.
Nice. And do you have any questions, Luis?
Yeah. So did we talk about mentors?
Yeah, we did.
Mentors. Sorry. So what does the success mean to you, Mike?
You know what? Success means, success to me, depending on my age. When I was 27, I wanted to conquer the world. 35, I wanted to conquer the world. And, success was money. Success was power. Success, God put them on the back burner. I got plenty of time to pray later on. But right now, I need to make a lot of money. As I got older, 40s, now that I'm 54 years old, now I know that life comes to an end. So I started doing my videos. I started doing kind of by mistake. I says, you know what? If I die and I can leave a few videos and kind of touch somebody's life along the way, then that's what I'm going to do. So I started doing that. So just not for the money or not for the fame. I'm doing it, but it started to grow. The business started to move forward and everything, and now it looks. I feel good that I'm empowering, and just like Mr. Huffer said that I could be a great real estate agent, I want to let the people know that they can own their own real estate office, and it can be done, even if you don't know anything. Just the fact that you got the support. You can go ahead and owning an office will make you a leader, because now you're going to have your own people, your own team, the whole thing. And next thing you know, you'll make a better life and make more money, and people will want to do business with you. So it's great. And
talking about support, how important do you think it is to have your other half support you when it comes to jumping into individuals?
We got the lovely Rosita here, Okay, so one more time.
All right, so how important is it, do you think, as a small business owner, to have your other half support you as far as wanting to make that leap from, I got a guaranteed paycheck whether I do anything or not, to, hey, I'm going to go out there and try to make some money on my own?
Well, it's funny because first of all, me and Rosita, we come from former marriages and everything, so we were able to, we failed on our marriages here, but we were able to connect ourselves. And now that Rosita and me are like, I can't live without her, and I hope that she can't live without me either. And we really help each other. We're there. Can you imagine we're in Russia? Let's go live. No, I don't want to go live. I want to keep my life private. I want to do this and that.
Yeah.
But you know what? You could only put up for so long, and then, you know what? It's time to move on. So Rosita compliments me, and I compliment her. And I showcase her beauty because she's very beautiful, and she makes me look good, and we communicate, and we do a lot of cheesy stuff together, and we like it.
Let's get. I know she doesn't have a mic in front of her. You want to get in front of the mic? Let's get Rosita's input on this.
I believe that it's very important to support your spouse. I believe that you have to be each other's cheerleader. And when you have that person that believes when you're a little bit afraid deep inside, and they tell you, you know what, you're the bestest of the westest. You're going to be amazing when you go out there, because we all have those fears. I know sometimes I'm scared. I'm not that confident. And Mike's like, oh, you're this, you're that. So he makes me think like I am the most beautiful girl in the world, the smartest girl in the world. So why wouldn't I give him the same thing? To me, he is the most handsomest guy. He is the smartest. He is the bravest. I think he's like ridiculously smart. I mean, he has a vision that I don't believe it sometimes. And then when he does it, I think like, wow, how amazing is he? So I can't imagine now, knowing better, that if you don't have that, it's sad. You need that. So if you can, when you love someone, the biggest recommendation that I would give, do it. Just be your spouse's cheerleader and have fun. Just have fun. Love each other.
What is your motivation to wake up in the morning? What is it that gets you get up and gets you going?
Me? Well, I'll tell you one thing. Living with Rosita and the way she treats me and everything, I don't want to get out of bed every morning. I would like to stay there 24/7, but we have to go out there and work. So what we do is just at my age right now, we want to make sure that the agents have what it takes for them to succeed. So that is my biggest pet peeve, that I said, you know what, the agents need to have all the tools and everything. And if I feel that they don't have the tools, then I'm not satisfied with them. Carlos, we had the pleasure of having you film the Excellence Awards. And, what did you think of the event on that?
It was massive. It was beautiful. It was, we haven't filmed an event like that before, so it was an amazing experience just to see everyone go, and participate and be, dressed. I felt like I was filming the Emmys. Yeah. Like, it was an amazing, whoever that girl was in the beginning, the first singing.
Yes.
Oh my God, she had an angelic voice. She sang so good.
And the people that went and participated on the Excellence Awards, they thought it was flawless, everything. They said it was great. And the thing is that we shot from the hip. The only one that knew the show was me. And Rosita says, well, what I do? Just follow me. You guys just follow me, grab the trophies, do this. I know what I'm doing. The camera will pick us up, this, and that. And they were very impressed. But I think next year we're going to have to really get everybody in key so we can increase it even better than this year on that. So it's good.
No, definitely. Let's talk. Being a business owner, we work hard and we also play hard. I know you love to sing karaoke, so tell me a little bit about your background. Like, what got you to karaoke, and what are some of your favorite songs that you like to sing?
You know what? I'm not a singer, and I'm not, just because I got used to, when you become a leader, we have mechanisms in our body that we never, talents that we never touch. We never touch. I'm a top producer, yeah, but I don't speak in front. I don't do this. I'll talk a little bit. We limit ourselves. And when you become an owner of an excellence office, your mind starts to open up, because now you got to be able to speak in a mic. You got to be able to do this. You got to be able to play the part that you're a leader. So me as a leader, then I got used to talking on the mic. I go, wow, I talk without a mic. I don't sound good, but I can hello, kind of mix it around. So, people were going in karaoke, and I got used to being out in the public. I said, I can do that. How does the tune go? It goes like, okay, great. And I would just follow the words and trick it with my voice, and things came out pretty good. And you build the confidence. So owning an office, owning an organization, I can karaoke, I can I like to dress good, I like to eat good, I like to be in a great relationship. I like to have all the good things in life without taking it to heart that, hey, we can't fall in love with those things because we're not going to take it with us. But what it is being exposed. So people don't understand that once they own their office, they're going to go into a whole new world. Because, the real estate industry is telling the agents, oh, you don't want to own an office. There's no money in there. You don't want to own an office. There's, too much liability. And yet the leaders tell them there's too much liability, and they don't want to because they'll become the competition. So at the end of the day, a guy like me says, hey, you should own your office. Are you kidding me? My broker told me it's the worst thing. But, yet the brokers that are saying that, they don't close their office. If there was a lot of liability, why don't they just close their office? And, they drive the nice cars. They live in the nice houses. Mm-hmm. So my thing is this. I'm going to change the world in real estate from saying you can't do it to saying you could. And I put the platform there for them so that way they can do it. The recipe's there. The only thing that will stop them is themselves. So, I got a saying, when the agent is ready, Mr. Excellence will appear, because now everything that I tell, and it's crazy, to have 51 locations, that means you're doing something right. Exactly. Because there's more people coming in than people leaving. And that's where the agents, I don't understand the walls that they have, because it's a no-brainer to be a leader. Who doesn't want to be an owner of an office? Do you want to be an owner, or you want to be just a regular agent? Well, I just want to be a regular agent. I don't want the fame. I don't want nothing. Every person comes into the business, into the real estate business, wanting to be a top producer and wanting to own their own office someday. And somewhere along the line, the dream is shattered. So that's where excellence came in. That's where Mr. Excellence is there. And I want to show that, hey, it's the best thing you can do in your life.
Last two questions, because it's going to have to come to an end. What type of advice would you give for someone that's, and this could be in real estate or just business in general, what type of advice would you give to someone that's wanting to go out on their own and try it for the first time?
The first advice is this. Let's say, for example, you work for this brand and you love that brand. Go to that brand owner, go to the brand company and says, look, I want to own a brand for myself. And let them sell it to them, so that way they become the ownerships. If they go to different places and it doesn't look like it's going to work out, then give me a call, and maybe excellence will be a right fit for them. But whether you work for any brand, you need to own the brand. That's what you got to do. You got to go out there and own your own office.
Nice. And what's one thing that, you're always on Facebook, you're live, people follow over. What's one thing that people don't know about Mike Oyoke?
You know what? What you see is what you get. One thing I've always learned, I've always learned to not bullshit people, to not tell the truth, to not think, we're fancy or this and that. And one of the things that people like is that me and Rosita are real. What you see is what you get, and we just have a great time together. And I see other people that try to do things, and you could tell they sketched it out. You could tell that they practiced. You're gonna say this, you're gonna say that, and you look at it, and I just tell Rosita, let's just be ourselves. We don't need to put all the fancy words and all that stuff. If it comes out terrible, most of the time she's yelling at me because she's saying, hey, I got a bad hair day. I go, no, you don't. You look great. Let's do it. And we just go natural on that.
That is awesome. Well, Mike, I do want to thank you today for coming in. This is our first official podcast. It's called Business LA. We're, in case of you guys don't know out there, we're executive advertising. We're a media and advertising company that deal with digital, all sorts of analytics to break down your social media. So I want to thank you once again, Mike, for coming down and being our first guest on our first official podcast.
And I want to thank you guys for inviting us, and I want to wish you a lot of success in your new venture here. And there you go. You guys are thinking the same way. You're the leaders, you're the owners, and you want to take and you have a dream. So don't let that dream die out, guys.
Never. So thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to try to keep it a weekly podcast so that way you guys can come in, and we're going to keep on trying to get good advice for you guys and just be out there. So thank you so much for joining. Luis, you have any closing statements?
Yes, guys. Thanks for tuning in and watching us, and stay tuned because we got a lot of good episodes coming ahead.